Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's your boy, the J Rivera, back at it again. So, let us begin. You've seen the title, okay? You know what we're talking about, all right? I don't gotta explain it. Yes, this do-rag is silk, okay? But that's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about this boy, this boy right here, Nagoryuki, okay? He is my favorite character in the beta so far. I've played him basically, I'd say probably 70% of the time during the beta. This is like the time that I was streaming for like a little bit. You guys don't worry about it. And so I have a lot of thoughts on him. I played basically every single matchup, and I've played a couple of matchups a lot more than others. I must have put in about 200, maybe 250 games with him. I got up to the celestial floor. I got promoted to it. I completed my rankings and all that. So I was definitely, I was on the floor for since, I think it was like since Sunday till Tuesday. I was on the celestial floor. So I got quite a handful of knowledge with this character. And also, like, not to toot my own horn, I was pretty good. All that aside, I'm basically saying that I'm kind of qualified to at least give an initial first thoughts on Nago. So, if you guys don't know, I'll just go over him real quick. He is a super high damage character with really bad mobility, okay? That's kind of his archetype. Slow, kind of trash mobility, but does huge amounts of damage, like easily the best damage in the game, all right? He has this mechanic, I'm kind of blocking it, but hold on, let me scooch myself over real quick. Okay, if you look to that side, he has that mechanic, this blood meter, which is his blood rage mode, and essentially, well, it's his meter that if it fills up, it goes into his blood rage mode. Essentially, your goal as a Nago player is to prevent yourself from going into that blood rage mode, and to manage your blood, essentially your blood gauge, as a resource. Now, how he functions is that he's able to chain every single like special move he has into another special move, basically indefinitely until his blood gauge cranks up, and then he goes into blood rage mode, and we'll get into all of that. I think, just as a TLDR, I think he's like gonna be a very solid mid tier. I don't think he's going to be low tier. I think he'll be quote-unquote low tier by proxy of the game, like the characters being kind of like better than him, like having a better matchup spread than him. But honestly, as of right now, according to this beta, from what I've played, from what I've experienced, I think he only has 3 bad matchups, okay? And if you're wondering why this little image is here right in the middle of my boy, it's 1, to show off that it is my boy, and 2, this little dweeb head is here. So we're going to keep that there. Anyway, let's just jump into it. Enough introductions aside, let's go into his strengths and weaknesses. Starting with his strengths. Bang. I'm all professional now. His strengths. As you can see, number 1, crazy high damage. I'm talking the best damage in the game. He can very easily two-touch you if he gets the right hit, okay? And honestly, like, most hits are the right hits. Like, he really like shines on this damage aspect. Number 2, crazy good chip damage. Crazy good. All of his sword normals do an amount of chip based on the sword. That would be far slash. That would be 5 heavy slash, 2 heavy slash, 6 heavy slash. So I think 6 heavy slash does the most amount of chip damage. But essentially, and of course his jump slash and his jump heavy slash. Essentially, all these normals do, and his 2S as well. Whatever. All of his sword normals do chip damage, and over time, it really racks up, especially the amount of chip damage that he does on his sword normals. Like, 5 heavy slash and 6 heavy slash do crazy amounts of chip. Like, over the course of, like, a long match, he will definitely shine the most because of the chip damage. Like, he's going to be chipping away at your opponent in neutral as you guys are, like, running around. So, that's really good. He can force plus frames. If he does his shadow clone into command dash, he is plus, and your opponent then has to guess whether or not he will frame trap you or go for a command grab, because he can go for a command grab. Best projectile. His shadow clone projectile is by far the best projectile. It has I don't know if it's infinite durability, but it has very great durability. It beats other single hitting projectiles. It goes straight through them. I don't think the opponent can hit them as far as I know. And it's really, really good. Command grab. He has a command grab, his chomp command grab. Just having one in the game is strong because, of course, as you know, command grabs are untechable, right? It just makes sense. So it just further adds to his kit as to why he is a scary character. And with his command dash, he can actually do tick throws from like jab or even from 2S. And like because his command dash like drifts him forward, he could do like command dash jab into tick grab, and it's really, really strong. So he has that going for him. Great anti-airs. Now in this game, people are saying that anti-airs are not that strong. I kind of agree, anti-airs are not that great, but for what he has compared to the other characters I've seen, he has a pretty good amount. Like his 5k, which honestly is not really supposed to function as an anti-air, still functions pretty great as an anti-air. His 6p, of course, the karate chop is, you know, pretty standard, pretty decent, works like as it should, I think. And his I said 5 heavy slash, I meant 2 heavy slash. His 2 heavy slash, the sweeping arc. I said 5 heavy slash like a dweeb. Anyways, the sweeping arc. You've seen me do it in the match if you're watching the footage. Is 2 heavy slash, so, that move, oh my gosh, it's so good, it's so good. Now, it does have a slow startup, so you're not really going to react to jump-ins, but you can just snipe your opponent out of the air, or preemptively snipe them out of the air. It covers a good amount of range on the ground too, so if your opponent's either close to you or in the corner, it's really not bad to throw out. You could just really throw it out with not a whole lot. Like, see, I just won the round with it. You can really just throw it out. It's honestly one of his best moves, if not his best move in the game. So he has that going for him. Now, let's get to the not so great stuff, okay? Moving on to his weaknesses. Weaknesses. Worst mobility in the game. And worst mobility in, I think, any Guilty Gear. Like, really, really bad. Even Abba in Guilty Gear XX has better mobility than Nagoryuki. Like, when she's not in her Morha mode, even Abba, and I played Abba, even Abba, because he does not have a double jump. He does not have a dash. He only has a back dash, okay? His super jump, which is his far arcing move, has 10 frame startup. That is so terrible. I don't know. I think regular jumps have like around 5 frame startup, but 10 frame startup means that he cannot safely super jump out of pressure. Like 9 has something similar to that. 9 from BlazBlue, if you don't know, I'm a 9 player. I mean, half y'all are here because I'm a 9 player. 9 from BlazBlue has something very similar to that, where she has a super jump arc. And that allows her to escape pressure or close the gap very effectively. Now, the difference between 9 and Nago is that 9 still had a double jump, and 9 had dashes in the air. Nago has none of that. None of that. The only mobility he has is tied to his blood meter, which is not great, because if you're fighting certain characters, which we'll get into, they can just definitely just wall him out and let him just crank up his blood and die, essentially. Struggles against zoners. Now, of course, this you've probably seen this coming. Of course, zoners, bad matchup. It really is, and it's winnable. All matchups are winnable, but if your opponent knows what they're doing, then it's not a good look, not a great look, and that's just mostly because of his bad mobility. Again, like, he doesn't have great mobility, so he's not like he has anything unpredictable to close the gap with. His movement is so predictable that if you're a zoner, if you're playing a zoner, then he can, like, the zoner can effectively just wall you out entirely. Blood meter is too low, okay? As soon as I got my hands on the character, as soon as I got my hands on the game, the first question I wanted to ask was, okay, how does the blood meter work? Like, how does it fill and how does it decrease, right? Because this is important to understanding his kit. This is important to managing it. You only effectively have 6 special moves. That's 6 special moves all across the board, except for his command grab. So 6 command dashes, or 6 of his like low, like circly thingy, or 6 of his projectiles, or 6 of his DPs. It's not and, it's or. You only have 6 of everything, and then he in Blood Rage mode if you do not use his sword normals, right? And moving on to the sword normals, it's that, like, if you notice, at Nago, whenever he hits you with his sword, he does get some blood back, which then decreases his gauge. However, big however, it is not a lot. Not a lot at all, okay? You can't, like, if I do, like, the string I love to do is 2S into 5H. That refills effectively, like, I don't know, 4 little blood splurts of whatever. Because all of his heavy normals obviously give you the most. It helps, but it still takes a while to go down, so it's a struggle. It really is a struggle. Yeah, it goes down way too low. I think that if they gave him even like 9 special moves, which is like 3 per bar, then that would be great. Like, honestly, that would be way better. That would make certain matchups way better. But let's move on to the next point. Why does this matter? Blood Rage sucks. It sucks. I don't care what Twitter showed you. I don't care what videos were uploaded, okay? Blood Rage is trash. It's terrible. He goes from what is the character with the worst mobility in the game to then the worst character in the game. And the worst character in the game. I don't care who tells you otherwise, okay? I can debate, like, I want to be proven wrong, okay? And I'd love to debate this with anybody. But he effectively becomes the worst character in the game. And let me tell you why. Character with low mobility, okay? At least he had a command dash. Can no longer do any special moves. No special moves. You know what that means? No combos. He has no combos. No combos and no command dash. He has no command dash, meaning that his mobility then becomes hyper predictable because you know he literally cannot command dash at you. In certain matchups, he can mix up his mobility with a cheeky command dash, allowing him to close the gap very effectively because he drifts forward, and while you're drifting with your command dash, you can actually block. So that way, when you're command dashing, you can block and then drift forward while you're blocking. It's very strong. You don't have that in Blood Rage mode, okay? Another thing. Blood Rage, and we've all know this, we've all seen this, it decreases so much health. So much health. There is zero reason why it should decrease so much health. As a point of reference, when you have max HP, it decreases it by 50%. 50% of his health gone. If you have less than half of HP, then it decreases it by about, I don't know, 40%. But if you're at 50% HP and you lose 35% of your HP, guess what? You're at 15% HP. And if you're any lower than that, then you're just one touch chip range. Chip kills in this game. So you just eat any fireball and you're done. Okay, Ram can just blast you with her laser beam from full screen and you're done. Okay, like it's bad. And his moves, yes, okay, they get crazy. Let's talk about the upsides of Blood Rage. You get crazy range on your normals, on your sword normals, and they do insane amounts of chip damage. But, okay, that's where all the plus sides come. But the normals are not plus. They're not plus. So, I mean, maybe if you're full screen. Also, they don't go full screen. Okay, they only go three quarters of the screen. They don't go full screen, so your opponent can just hug the wall, and then if you get close enough, they can just jump over you and go to the other side of the wall, okay? They don't go full screen. They can also just react to your button and barrier it, so effectively negating the chip damage, okay? So it's like, it's not like you're guaranteed to chip them. And, they're not plus. I think I already said that, but they're not plus. It's not like I can stay in my opponent's face and then just chip them to death, okay? No, it's not like that at all. You're not going to chip them to death. You're just going to be swinging your sword maybe like once or twice, and then they're going to like contest your normal, force you to block, and then like either kill you for it or just... It's bad, okay? It's really bad, all right? I didn't even talk about on activation. The activation of Blood Rage is punishable on block and on whiff. It's worse on whiff. On block, it's punishable. I don't think many people know that, okay? Not a whole lot of people know that. But on block, if Nago dashes up to you and makes you block the Blood Rage activation, he is punishable. You can get you can really only get a jab punish, but that is trash. At worst, you are like super plus. Like, you as the defender, if Nago makes you block his Blood Rage, you are like his activation of his Blood Rage, you are so plus. You can do whatever you want to him. You basically get a free mix-up on Nago. And in neutral, he has such long recovery than from if you're like aware and at the proper space, you can just get a full blown punish of whatever you want on him if he whiffs the activation. Terrible, 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 garbage. And of course, I forgot the name of the move. The baseball bat, okay, the kaking, you know what I mean? Like that super when he gets into Blood Rage, it is, and let me be very clear on this. It is punishable from max range on block. People thinking, I was one of those people who thought, oh, if I get into Blood Rage and I have 50 meter, I could just pop super, go back. And just go back, right? I lose a little bit of health, whatever, it's fine. No. If your opponent is aware of how to punish it, they can and will punish you, okay? From full screen. And get this, if you are punished before the animation is completed, you do not leave Blood Rage mode, okay? You are stuck in Blood Rage, so you're taking damage from Blood Rage and damage from your opponent. Effectively means you just lost, I don't know, 95% of your health, something like that, okay? 85 on a bad day, all right? 70 if your opponent's asleep, okay? Like, it's bad. It's really bad, okay? I could talk about Blood Rage all day, but I don't want to. Let's move on to the last point. The last point is, his buttons are kind of bad. They're kind of bad. They're not on the worst side of things, but in certain matchups where, like, speed is of the essence, he does not do well. Let's just say 2S is his best button, and 2S, honestly, if you like watch my matches, once Guilty Gear comes out, I'll be playing the game a lot. 2S is my most used button by far because it is incredible. 5S, it has crazy range, way too short, and 2 Heavy Slash is also really good, but also kind of slow. His buttons are slow and pretty negative, so it's unfortunate, but he cannot really contest a lot of very fast-paced matchups as well as he wants to, as well as I want him to, anyway. So that's pretty much it.